This video shows how to convert those old sequences here, such as this single channel singing pumpkin sequence, over to a more modern RGB sequence. Now, in these sequences, we only have one channel of data. So for example, in the eyes open, we only have one channel, but we ultimately need three channels, red, green, and blue. Let's go about doing that. The first thing we need to do is we need to add in our RGB channels. Now, if we click on this channel here, we'll see that this is an LOR controller, controller address 1, circuit 1. And you can see this goes through 8. So we have 8 sections we're going to control. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go up to Tools, and we're first just going to add in our DMX addressed controllers. Now this is for dumb. If you're using pixels, you may need to use a different process in a different video. So the first thing we're going to do is say Add Controller, and we're going to say DMX Universe, and we're going to select a universe that is configured. That would be in a separate video on how to configure a universe. So we'll just assume Universe 1. And in this particular product, we have 3 DMX channels for each individual section. We'll assume, for example, that we're using 9 output controller or 10 output controller. That's dumb RGB. So the minimum number we need, we need 32. Now we can't select 30 or 27 because that's not an option. So we're going to select 32. Click OK. Now if we scroll down, we can see that those controllers, that controller has been added with, in this case, 32 channels. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, what we're going to do is we need to convert these not from single channels. You can see that it says Circuit 1, which is actually DMX address 1, Universe 1, Universe 1, DMX address 2. And we need to convert these all into RGB channels. So we're going to just click on the first one here. And we're going to right-click and say Convert to RGB channel. And we're just going to put RGB. And we're going to say do this for the remaining 10 channels, RGB channels. So that's going to combine all of these into red, green, blue channels. So now we have 10 RGB channels, as you can see here. Now, actually, we don't need this 10th one and the 9th one. We could go ahead and delete it like this. And I'm just going to delete some of these extra channels that we no longer need. And finally, the last one. Now, this actually has 16 channels in it with the individual singing pumpkin and the 8 separate pumpkins. We're just going to show you how to do the main pumpkin. So I'm going to say delete this final one. So now we have 8 RGB channels. That's 24 DMX channels. That matches the 8 channels we have here. We are not going to set up this here for pumpkin 1 through 8. That's additional sequencing. All right. Now, if we expand this, we can see that we have red, green, and blue. And we need to get this data from here down to here. Now, there's not a specific way to do this in terms of getting it to paste in, because Light-o-Rama doesn't know what color you want. So we kind of have to help it out. The first thing we need to do is tell it what channel we're going to be pulling from. So we're just going to click in here. This is the Mega Pumpkin. That's the outline. So we're going to go up here to Edit. Then we're going to say Select Zone and Row. So you can see that there's a white line around the entire zone or channel. Now we're going to go up and say Edit, Copy. Now, the entire sequencing data for this row has been copied. Now, we need to come down here and put it down here. So we're going to do Edit, Select Zone, Select Rows. Now, how we paste this in depends upon how we want to start off with the data. Now, if we were to paste the same data on all 3 channels, which we'll do on the first one, we're going to get white. So I've gone ahead and selected that, and I'm going to simply then go to Paste. Now, you can see that the channel, if we collapse it, is red. Why? Because we've only pasted this data, and it's converted it to the red color. So if we go in here and we say Edit, Select Zone, Row, and then we say Edit, Paste, now we've got yellow because red and green is yellow. And finally, if we paste the last one, which is blue, we go Edit, Select Zone, Rows, and then we paste it. Now we get white. So if we paste all 3, we're going to get white on our RGB lights. Now, what happens if we want to change those slightly? Now, if you want white or any of these solid colors, no problem. Red, green, or blue, not a problem. Not so good if you want orange or if you want some other color in between. Now what we can do is we can actually go in and we've got this blue row selected. So let's just reduce the red color down and see what we get. So we go up here, we select that, we go Edit, Select Zone, Row. Now we've got the whole red row selected, and we're going to right-click with my right mouse button and select Change Intensities. Now, I can reduce it to 50% on all those pieces of data, all the intensities, or it could go into a detailed, and I can actually punch in a number. Just for simplicity, we'll show you here first the detail. You can see you can reduce, increase, cap, all this, and then we can put a percentage in here. So we can very granularly control that. Or, in this particular case, let's just do reduce 50%. So this means that the intensity of red, which is currently, let's say for example here, at full 100%, we're going to say mark that down by 50%. So you can see now that brings it down to a light blue. Now, to show you an example of how this is working, let's do this for all of those rows. And then what we're going to, we need to go to Edit, Select Zone, Row, and we're going to, again, change intensities. 50%. You can see now it's like a light blue, and because we have a strong blue here, and now we're going to go into Select, Row, and finally reduce this intensity again. Now, we've reduced it to the point where it's just gray. Gray is really halfway between full-on white and off, which is black. So we've reduced all of these by that amount. Let's try something a little different. So let's do the second section. Now, you may want to go in here and change that. So like Mega Pumpkin, just so you can keep track of what channels. Now, you can also see here that this matches up Universe 1, DMX channels 1 through 3. And here, let's just do eyes open, and you can see it's 4, 5, 6 sequential numbers. So we're going to start with eyes open now, and we're going to just use a different method. I'm going to say select rows. I'm going to say edit. Then I'm going to say copy. I'm going to go down here to eyes open, and we're just going to paste in red and blue. Edit, select, row, edit, paste. Now we got a red data. Now we want to paste in the same exact data, which is already on my clipboard. I'm just going to say select, rows, edit, paste. Now we have red and blue, which combined together with no data from green is purple. So this is how you can get these particular colors. Now, let's say that this purple is not exactly like we want it. What we can do is, again, we've already got the blue selected. Let's say that the blue color is causing the purple to be not what we want. So we're going to say reduce by 20% the blue color. Now we get a more fuchsia color. We can try that again, reduce again. Now we get even darker, almost pink color. We're going to reduce the blue yet again, 20% more. Now you can see we have almost little blue left, and that's only affecting the red slightly to create this ever so light shade of red. If we reduce it another 20%, we've reduced all, because we've done this 5 times, all of the blue, and guess what? Now we're back to just red, because we don't have that. So we could actually go back in, and we could say paste, and we can put it back again. Now we're back to purple. Now, all you have to simply do is do that for each one of these individual channels, put them in how you like it, and adjust the colors. Now, we should mention that the colors may not come out exactly. This is due to a large number of factors. The fact that the color of your monitor may not match the color rendering of your pixels, and the brightness level, and assumptions of the way the eye works. So, what may be orange in your particular screen may not be orange on the actual device, or purple, or red, or green. So you may want to go ahead and play your sequence and make sure that it actually plays in the color that you're expecting before you go through and sequence everything. And that's how you convert a single channel sequence over to RGB.